Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Thank you for joining me today. Before we get started, the housekeeping notes, all the product I'm using and all the dimensions will be listed below. There's a link to my online store if you wish to purchase any of these products. There is a link to our Facebook group. We love to have you join that. There's my email address if you have any questions. And finally, remember to like, share, and subscribe and help me grow in YouTube world. Well, what I have out here is 3 stamp sets so far. I have an idea in my head. I have done a little bit of die cutting, and hopefully I have everything I need, but I have an idea for a card in my head, and so I'm going to just film it. And we'll go from there. So, what I'm going to start with, we're going to be making an easel card today. And the base of our easel card is going to be with real red. So we're going to start with that. And you need a piece that is 5.5 by 8.5. And then you are going to score at 4 1/4. I'm putting my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. You're going to score at 4 1/4. And then we're going to take and do some cutting. And I'm turning this way so I can see my numbers here easily. And we are going to cut at 1 inch down to the score line, which is 4 1/4. So make sure everybody's lined up. Check your measurements twice. And we're going to cut right down to 4 1/4 and my score line right there. And then we're going to come over to this side. Line it up at 1. If I don't move this too much, we still should be right at 4 1/4, and we are. And we're going to come right back up like that. So this is what we have so far. Okay. Oh, sorry, almost forgot. We have one other thing we need to do. So you fold everybody back like that. And then you're going to take the 2 legs, put them behind, and put this piece in. And you're going to bring it up, and you are going to be scoring at, make sure I have the score right, line right, 2 1/8. All the dimensions will be listed below. Double checking, and score at 2 1/8. So that is all those pieces for the base of our card. Now I'll burnish them. And so when I started prepping for this, I did die cut a lot of things, but I didn't do everything, and I didn't cut my DSP. So that's what we have so far. One of the things I did cut out was from the branching out set, because we need something to build our centerpiece on. So I'm using the 4th one in, because the reason I did that is I needed something that did not overlap the 4 1/4. The next one up was just from top. It was exactly 4 1/4, so it was too big. So we're going with a little smaller one, but that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and put this right back now. And you see there's other pieces missing because I've already die cut some of them. But, so those are the pieces we need thus far. But we do need some DSP and some cardstock to go on the inside. So let's do our DSP first. And what we're going to be using first is I have these 2 pieces here that we're going to be using for our sides. We'll eventually cut into a full piece, but I have the pieces. I'm going to use them first. So we need them to be 7/8 by 4 1/8. So let's put this in here. Probably only going to use one of these. Right at 7/8. Now, we're really close on here. And if I close this, I can't hold my paper. Little trick. Line your paper up where you want it. Make sure it's still lined up perfectly. And I can see my numbers here at the bottom as well. so I can make sure it's still lined up. Put it in like that. Then cut it. And that's our 7/8 strip. We'll save those in case we need them a little later. And it needs to be 4 1/8. And 4 1/8. So that's those two pieces. And now we need another piece, which is bigger, and unfortunately I don't have another scrap, so I have to cut into a full sheet of this beautiful paper. And I need a piece that is, and I can't remember the dimensions of it. So we're going to take a quick measurement. And all the measurements will be listed below. Hang on, I'm just... All right. So we're going to call that 4 1/8. 1/8, yeah. 4 1/8 by 3 3/8. Like I said, I don't have all the dimensions. So I said, let's take this as small as I can here. So let's take it on this side. So we'll go 3, because this is not really directional paper, so it doesn't matter. If you're directional, you'll have to make that decision. By 4 1/8 is what I said. Yeah. You know I like cutting from the bottom because I can see the numbers easier. But you do that where it's comfortable for you. So that should be all the DSP we need for this, I think. Okay. Well, I know I need a piece of white cardstock. Oh wait, no, I'm not done. I do need one more piece of DSP. But I need to measure it once we get it in. So let's put what we have together so far, and then so I can get my measurements for the inside of the card. I've made similar cards to this style before, but oh, there it goes. I knew it was going to go. You don't need quite that much glue. Matter of fact, I'm going to try to scrape a little of that glue off there. That is really more than we need. We'll have glue coming out everywhere. And you want to put that down. And you want to make sure your sides are all nice and straight. No one's off kilter there. And then we'll put a little bit of glue on this side and glue it down. And let's go ahead and put these small pieces of DSP on. If I did my measurements right, I did figure that out before we started. There. Okay. I think this paper is so pretty. Oh, it's really pretty. Do you guys wonder what color pink that was? I kept on going, what color of pink is that? And where did I put that piece of paper I was playing? I was playing earlier, trying to figure out what pink this was. None of our pinks matched, and I started stamping off with real red. I think it's stamped off real red. That was a question I had when I was playing with this. I was like, what in the world is that? Because there was no pinks listed, and I'm like, there's so much of it. It has to be one of the other colors stamped off then. So that's what I went and searched for. Not that we're using it, but I was curious. So if you were curious on what color pink that was, it's actually stamped off like 4 times, real red 3 times. So we have that piece. And then what's going to go, this piece is going to go on here. And when you're doing these center easel cards, you can measure it and see exactly what you need. I'm going to make sure I didn't overshoot my dimensions here. Nope. But don't worry about scoring this one. It's an odd measurement. It's 4 1/8. That means you'd be doing 2 1/16 or something. And it's too complicated. Fold your paper in half. So, folding on the longest side, the 4 1/8. Make sure you get everybody lined up perfectly. And start folding it. And give it a nice press. And I have a gold folder somewhere. Do this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to glue that on. And we're going to line up the score lines right like that. And that gives us that piece. Yeah, don't make your life hard. Keep it simple. Oh, I know what's going on. This is the older bottle of glue that's been fighting me. I had it off to the side. I don't know why I grabbed it. The other one's in the stand. And then we're going to put that right on there. Make sure I got all my folds lined up. Just like that. Okay. Now we need to do the 2 pieces for inside here. So, where's my measuring again? I know that they all need to be about 3 3/8. I wanted to make sure it's inside, so I'm going to measure up here real quick. 3 3/8 would do it. So we know it's 3 3/8 wide. And then I need to determine how much I want here and here. So if we put 2 inches for writing on, let's say 2 1/8. We'll say it's 2 1/8 high, and this got a piece of white paper for writing on. So if I put 2 1/8, and I put 2 1/8 for my DSP, that should work. Okay, so we need some white. Here's a piece of white. I need a trimmer. And I said it was 2 1/8. We'll save that. I think we need to do a label, so we'll use that for the label. By 3 3/8. And we need the same size of DSP. I'm just going to set it off the side. And this should be 3 3/8 already, because that's the size we used for the outside. And I said 2 1/8. Okay. So this piece is going to go in just like that. And this piece will overlap that, just like that. So we'll put the white one in first. And then I guess next we better make our stopper and our label. With this beautiful embossed paper with gold, I think we better emboss what we're putting on our stopper and label. I don't know what I'm going to say yet, though. Just line everybody across the top so you're nice and even across there. So that's what we have so far. And then we do have this piece, but we're not going to be mounting it on yet because this will be one of the last things we mount on. But we do need to make our stopper, so let's do that now. We'll set everybody off to the sides. So I brought out traditional labels. This card's not going to have a lot of verses. It's going to have one verse. And I'm thinking I just need to say Merry Christmas. It just says it all. So let's pull out Merry and Christmas. Set it on this just so it doesn't stick. There's Christmas. And then we have Merry. And we have that Merry. I think I like mixing the fonts. I'm not sure that we could get both of those into a label. And we can't use too big, so we have to, this one might work. Because keep in mind, we have to fit inside here. So that one does fit perfectly, just like that. So that's the label we want to use. So we'll Merry and Christmas will fit inside the label nicely. I sort of, wrap those a little bit. That might fit. So let's go ahead and die cut this first. If I'm heat embossing, I like to die cut first. And just to be, nope, gotta go that way. So let's die cut this really quick. Said I did a lot of die cutting already, but I'll show you that in a little while. This video will take a few more minutes than normal. But I think it's worth it. It's a great card if you want to make something special for somebody. I hope so. I haven't seen it yet. Okay. Let's start with that. Ooh. Or do we want to put our label on red and gold? That's an idea. I have a scrap of red here. Not small enough to go through the machine, though. I don't know which one I want. And when you don't know, make two. And then decide. Gold on red is so pretty. And if you're going to heat emboss one, you might as well heat emboss two. And you can use it on the other one on something else later. Isn't that pretty? Okay, just throw that in there for now. Okay. I've got my heat gun. I did think about embossing before I came out here, so. And just picking up a few things because I don't want embossing powder into everything, We are going to need this, and we need Stampin' Buddy and Versamark, and then we need to lay this out and decide on which Merry and which Christmas we're using. And I'm using my grid here to line this up. And this I'm just sort of tucking that into those curves. My Merry is not exactly straight, but that's okay. We're going to stamp this on a piece of paper first to see what it looks like. We're just going to stamp it with some ink. I don't want to use cherry cobbler. Let's use garden green. One thing, I've never used the Stamp the Merry before. And before I Versamark, I want to make sure I have tested. Plus, I want to make sure I'm pretty lined up. That looks pretty darn good. does. I had another idea. No, I'm not going. I don't know. I'm thinking. Oh, good. Still got stuff on. What I'm thinking is, instead of embossing, I'm going to do one in gold, but then I was thinking maybe we should embossing green on white, but I'm not going to. I want to stick with gold because that is the main accent of this card, and I want it to stay the main accent. So, with that being said, that Merry and Christmas is tilted just slightly. But you know what? I can live with that. I can live with that. Okay, I'm going to put the other Merry away before I lose it. Don't leave your stamps out so you can lose them. They end up in really strange places. They get hooked on packaging and sucked up in the vacuum cleaner. Once they've been through the vacuum cleaner, they pretty much have had it. Okay, I'm putting a lot of embossing powder on there because there's a lot of static here today. We have a lot of wind blowing. Yeah. 2 days ago we were 80 degrees. This is a week. I'm filming this like a week before you see it, and today it's a nice. When I woke up this morning, 42 degrees and raining. I think summer's finally over. Okay, I'm just kicking a little of that off. So we're gonna get my gold embossing powder out here, and I'm gonna grab my pair of tweezers. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and do both of these at the same time. Like I said, if you're gonna do one, you might as well do two. Cover that up before you open your powder and move that out of the way. So, here is my embossing powder. Make sure I got a nice coat over that. That's good. This one I'm just going to pick up in my fingers. And run it in there. Make sure you have everything well coated. I'm not sure I'm going to like that one, but we shall see. And watch your ears. I'm going to turn my heat gun on. You don't need to do this. Just hold it steady, watch it melt, and then slowly move it over. There's that one. Come back. Here we go. I did not get enough Versamark on there, but it's still good. But I think I really do like this red one better. But let's get this over here and see the truth. That red one really, yeah, red. I'll use the white one for something else. And let that cool, and then we'll brush that off with my microfiber. And I'm just gonna wipe off my desk real quick. So now it is time to start building our centerpiece. You're saying, what's going to be in the centerpiece? Well, I have die cut a whole bunch of stuff to make our centerpiece. We do need to do a little coloring, but very little coloring. But what I decided to use for my centerpiece was this die cut, which is from this piece of paper. This one has some pool party in the pink and the red, and there's some with the darker red and pinks. You can choose whichever one you like. Or you could use the stamp set itself and stamp all the pieces into it, because it is a two-step stamp. So either way, but I decided I wanted the gold, so I wanted to use this piece. And what's going to happen is we're going to be building on this here, and this is going to come across this way. And yes, it overhangs a little bit, but that's fine, because when it's closed, we are still inside our card. So we are perfectly fine. So set that off to the side for a moment, because we'll need to come back and check. But this is what we're going to build on, that little cute piece we cut. And I know this is going to go up on dimensionals. And then what I've also cut out is I've cut out some holly, some green twigs. Now this one is from the Branching Out set. And it looks like I left a little chat there. The holly is from the Greenery. This is from the Greenery, and so is this one. These little berry boughs are from Branching Out. But what I want to do is I want to color those. And I know I'm going to probably need 3, but I did bring out a few extra, but we'll only color 3, I think. And it's going to be quick coloring. I brought out Cherry Cobbler and Real Red. I think we're going to go with Real Red. No, I think we're going to maybe go Cherry Cobbler. I want it redder than that. Yep, Cherry Cobbler it is. And what I'm doing is I'm just coloring the little berries. And so like I said, I did die cut a bunch of stuff ahead of time. I had an idea what I wanted in my bouquet I'm making, but I only need one of these cards, and so I thought I'm just going to do it and turn on the camera. Because I actually do like doing it this way. Not that I'm going to do everything this way, but... And then I grabbed some dark old olive. And you could use your markers, or you could use whatever you have. You could do these with blending brushes if you want to be really careful, but I think pens work rather well. Like I said, like my last time I did one of these, I forgot to grab a bunch of stuff out, but I tried to think of anything I might want to use. I got stuff laying around here I probably won't even use. But it's at hand reach in case I do. And the last one. Okay, trying to think, is there anything we need to color or stamp beyond this that I can think of? So there's 3 of those. We'll get started with 3. If we need more, we'll color up some more. Oh, my envelope. That's what I haven't done yet, is the envelope. And I want to get that done before we forget. What should we put on the envelope? I think I'm going to put down there sent with lots of love. I could put another something else, but I think I like that one. Sometimes some words on the front is rather nice. We use Overkill on the block. And I think we'll use real red. See, I know who this card's going to, but you don't. But the person, I think, watches most of my videos. So when Christmas time comes around, she'll know. Okay, let's pick up a couple things here. And I want to clean this red ink off this before I end up with red ink where it doesn't belong. Okay, let's build. So I don't want this to go. I'm just going to sort of do a dry run here. Now this, I know, is way too big. So I think we're going to split this. Just have to decide where to split. So if you think and look at some of this stuff, you can figure out where to split this. I'm going to split it right about there. So that if we still want to use this, we can use that other piece. So I want to put that one up like that. Now that is almost too big as well. It's okay. This is what we do. We just hack things apart until we get it the way we want. Come around here and snip this so it's going in the same direction as the leaf. There you go. We've got another one of those to use. And we have some of these sprigs. And I think I still want to use this other piece of green, this other piece here. But what we're going to do, see, this is sort of uneven. Actually, I don't mind that tip. I'm going to take and just snip off the end of that. And I'm just going to whack these couple off so it's a little... Now we've turned it upside down. And we're going to use it that way. Okay. So let me put this on with dimensionals and then we'll start tucking stuff in. Okay, I know that this needs to go through the center section, so I don't want to get too close to the side and not too close to the edges because we want to be able to tuck stuff in. Oop. I think I may be getting too close off. About like that and that. And put one more there. So what I need to do is I need to mark on here where I want this to lie. And which way do I want my flower bouquet to go? I want it that way. So what I need to do is I need to sort of pinpoint where I want this. And yes, this is going to bulk when it lays down, but it's fine. So I'm going to take a pencil. Just put a little mark right there. That's my center point. So this needs to come up right sort of across that center point, just like that. And that's where we're going to start. When you're building something like this, let's get this over here and use it. So I have quite a messy desk today. You're building a bouquet or something like this. Just cut a bunch of things you think you'd like in it and then sit down and do what I'm doing. That looks pretty good. So I think I'm going to start by sticking the gold in. Now keep in mind, we have to stay inside the framework of our card. That's where we're going to be pulling this back in and looking at it. So right there, that's too tall. This one's going to go this way. So we need to trim off a little bit off this one. And we need to trim a little bit off this. trimming off a little bit is easier than fighting to get it in underneath there. So by trimming them down, we know that we're going to fit just like that. The other thing you can do, and I don't know why I didn't show you this, this is 4 inches high. That's a card base. That's 4 inches. We have 4¼ So put this on here like that, and you put this right at the base, and don't go above where that, can you see where the line is? It's sort of light, but you can see it. It's right here where that cardstock is. That's the other way you can do this. You can't go above where that white line is. So let's grab some glue dots. I don't want to use glue on that gold. So I'm going to use glue dots. And I'm going to put 2 on this one. Just like that. And we will tuck them in about like that. Now maybe we should have this one down here instead. Yeah, let's put that one down there. I changed my mind. Changing your mind is allowed. It's your card. But once again, if I'm putting this here on the base, I need to make sure that I'm inside there. And this is not going to stick very well. Well, I'm stuck to it. I have a glue dot stuck to my fingernail. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. Oh, definitely want some shaded spruce in there. Okay. But I like holly berry. Let's check out these holly berries. Holly leaves and holly berries. Just so they stick out the top there. Okay. Use a little glue here. And I'm going to put this one in down low. And I'm going to put this one in down here. Yes, I'm only putting the glue on one end. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with these holly berries. And I'm going to tuck them. Oh, I need to, whoop, I'm going to come up. It didn't work. That's okay. I'm going to stick them down. I just want them peeking out like that. So we'll add some more glue. I just want those holly berries, and I don't think I'm going to use as many as I thought, but just enough. Now there's a little glue where it doesn't belong, but it will dry. Just like that. And then we're going to take one of these cute little twigs and pop it right in there, like that. Like I said, you get in here and build your own. It is fun. I like flower arranging too. When I was younger, I used to help decorate floats for the Rose Parade and the Portland Rose Parade. So, okay. Yes, I'm whacking things off of these this time. So I don't want it to look the same all the way around. I want different leaves around here. So I think this time we're going to put this green one in here. I think. Off to the side like that. tuck that up there at an angle. Still looking at my framework here to make sure I'm going to stick in there just fine. And then I want to put some of these in. Like I said, I don't want the top to look like the bottom. I like things to be different. So let me look this. I'm liking it so far. Let's pull it over to this. That's looking pretty good. I need something else right there. I know. Let's make some little flower or little picks. Let's see, what do I have for ribbon here? I went to look to find gold ribbon what we had available and what I actually had. This is the gold woven weave ribbon, which is on the clearance last chance list, but at the time of filming was still available. Ooh, that's gonna look pretty. So we're gonna make a couple picks with this. I think I've never made one out of mesh before. I'm gonna cut them about roughly 4 inches. Let's do 3. Like I said, nothing scientific about this. And then I'm going to, basically, I'm going to roll up the ends of this and sort of give it a little twist on one end. And then I'm going to grab a glue dot, wherever my glue dots have gone. Put that on one end. And yes, it's coming through the mesh, but that's okay. And I'm going to take the other end and roll it up. Sorry, get it back in the camera. And just push the ends together on that glue dot. It's sort of messy, but it works. Like that. Didn't know if it would work, but it does. And let's make 3 of those. I'm going to try this one this way. I'm going to just pull all of that up. So I have a little loop on one end and twist my end here. And then put a glue dot in. And twist it up a little more to hold it. There'll be more than that. There's 2 and 1 more. We would put the other in, but I really like this ribbon. You could use this and do the same thing with one of these 2. I'd say the white and the gold. But if you have some of this, or we've had other gold ribbon before. We used to have that thin stuff, which I've got all of them, but they're not available. So I wanted to use something that was still available. Why they got rid of this just before Christmas, I have no idea. But what I'm going to do is I want to come in here. Oh, I'm going to need more glue dots to hold that together, I can tell right now. I'm going to grab a couple more glue dots. It's a little clumsy, but it works. Okay, so I want to set this one right down in there like that. So it puffs up. So, more glue dots. I'm going to try to put one on either side of it. So we have lots of things for it to catch on to. So we're basically sandwiching in the glue dots. And then lift this up. You have to stick it in there carefully with your glue dots. And then pressing that right there. So that's hooked into where my flowers are right there. And we're still inside our framework. It's close enough this is ribbon, it can move. It's not paper. And let's see. Let's put one down in here. A ribbon like this also makes great filler for bouquets. It's like using baby's breath. Okay, hang on. Using my pick to poke it under here and then pushing it into place. By putting the glue dots on both sides, it's pretty secure. Oh, let's see here. Oh, we definitely need the third one. Need it right there. I think we're not going to use all the pieces I made, but that's okay. I'll save them for another card. Tuck that down in there. Grab my pokey tool and then give it a push to make sure it's adhered down. How are we doing so far? What do you think? I think it's looking pretty nice. I like that. You know, I think we're going to go ahead and mount that on there right now. And then we're going to put this bling on. So what you want to do is, you know where it's going to go on here. So what I would do is flip it directly over. And yes, you've got a lot of bulk there. But if you slide it this way, you can see, or this is one of my favorite way to do that, is I just put my hand in here to see where I'm going. I know I need glue at this end. Either way works, whatever way works for you. Be generous, but not over generous. But be generous. You want it to stay on the card. And then position that right in the middle of the center there. Okay. And then that's going to go like that. But we need a stopper. So let's do the stopper, and then let's figure out our bling. First, I said that was got the dust all over it. And you've seen me do this before. This is just a microfiber towel. It's what I use in the bathroom. A couple in the craft room. And dust that off so it is nice and pretty again. And we're going to put that right on there. So, I have some long strips we use here. I don't have limited long strips right now, but I wanted to make sure the long strips were the side where the easel stood up. So I just like it for strength. That's it for that sheet. And that's it for that sheet. Use every scrap on there. Don't waste any of it. This is your stopper. You want it secure. Okay. And we want to place this as straight in the center of this as we can. Just like that. And then this will open and sit right there. And you notice this comes to a point on here. It doesn't have to be flat. It just has to be high enough to stop it from collapsing. Okay, we have that. But we're not done yet. I'm trying to get a little bit of this crap out of here before I get it all over the place. This bowl's good for other things too. Small pieces of paper work nice. Anyhow, we need some bling. And I hadn't decided on the bling yet. So I'm going to grab my bling boxes here and We know we can't use silver. We definitely need something in the gold range. I'm thinking, I really am thinking about a particular color of, that's what I was thinking of right there. These are the flower accents. They're in that, the one with the broken vase one. But look at that. It's going to be so pretty on there. So where do I want some? One there. And two down here. So let's put a large one right. Nope, we're going to go with a small one. Put a large one there. We'll put a small one up here. And another small one down here. I think that's enough. I could go more, but I don't want to overdo it. So, that's my easel card for today. I think it's rather cute. If you want to be wordy and need more than just this little area, flip it over, put a white piece on the back, and you can decorate it if you want. And that is our pretty little card and envelope for today. So thank you for joining me. This is the card for someone special. This is not the card you're going to mass produce. I've showed you for those. This isn't one of them. So thank you for joining me, and everybody have a wonderful weekend. Goodbye.